I'm Dan Hunt, and this is Up Close and Personal, live from World CryptoCon 2019, brought to you by Dunamis Global Tech, powered to pay. My guest right now, and I didn't ask him how to say his last name, let me try, okay? My guest right now is Alex Mashinsky.
Very good.
I got it there. Alex, welcome to the show.
Great job.
Thank you so much for being here. Now, Alex, I can't help but before we get started to ask you about this t-shirt. Banks are not your friends. Tell me about that.
Well, banks are not your friends. You know, it's something we use every day. We use it on a credit card. We use it for a mortgage. We use it to deposit our, paycheck. But banks are some of the worst offenders as terms as companies who are not acting in your best interest. So
let's start out and talk. We're going to talk about you, but we're on this banking thing. Let's talk about why are banks not in your best interest?
So their job, the bank's job, is they have a license effectively to take your money and to the camera. All right.
To Tigger up there.
Okay. So banks have a license, right? A federal license to take your money, take your deposits, and then lend it to somebody else, and lend it for more and pay you less, right? So they usually take deposit, they pay 1% or less, and they turn around and lend it on a credit card, for example, and charge you 24%. So they keep the difference, right? If you went to your real estate broker and they charge you 90% of the value of your home, you would turn around and laugh at them and leave, right? But that's what banks do every day. They charge 90% of what you make on your money, and they keep it to themselves instead of giving it to the depositors. They keep it, and then they give some of it to their shareholders as dividends, and so on. So that is why they're not your friends.
Right. So you used the terminology earlier that the 1% are benefiting from the 99% us.
Yeah, so if you think about who are the largest shareholders of banks, they are the 1%. Warren Buffett, for example, is the largest shareholder of both Bank of America and Wells Fargo.
Right.
So he gets, every quarter, he gets billions of dollars in dividends. Billions in dividends. Yes. Every quarter, he collects billions in dividends, which are payouts. Where does a bank make that money? So let's look at the bank, right? Last year, the top 4 banks collected $34 billion from the poorest American just for overdraft charges. Just you went...
Wait. How much money?
$34 billion.
$34 billion. $34 billion
from
just
the poorest American. You went $1 over your balance, they charge you $30 fee.
Right.
Bang, like that, right? And then you have to go to a day loan to cover, because they'll shut down your account if you don't cover it, right? So how hard it is to block that and stop at zero. But they don't want to do that. They want to charge you those fees. So when a bank makes that giant payment to the shareholder,
yes,
where did that money come from? It came from the poorest Americans, the guys who maxed out on their credit card, the guy who have overdrafted, the guy who gave a check and didn't do the right math and wrote $5 more than he had as a balance in his bank account. Boom, $30, $40, bang, bang, bang. Or fake bank accounts. Wells Fargo got caught that they opened 22 million fake bank accounts for people that didn't need these accounts, and they charge them $20 a month for their account for years.
$20 a month for years.
Yes. So, did anyone go to jail? Did anyone get a slap on the wrist, a fine, and they keep doing what they're doing? So they're not your friends.
They're not your friends, and we bank with one of the major banks that you just mentioned, and I noticed last month, or maybe 2 months ago now, a bunch of little fees. $5.
Yep.
So I called up, I said, what are these fees for? What is all this? They now charge us to go into the bank and make a deposit.
You make a transaction, they're going to charge you a fee.
That's
so
absolutely
look, it's lunacy. And look, in Europe and in Japan now, there is $17 trillion worth of negative rates, meaning people are paying money to the bank to keep their money, right? So how crazy is that? So look, I'm an immigrant. I came to this country 30 years ago. I walked into Citibank, I took my few $100s, I deposited them, and they paid me 7%. Why? Because next door there was a community bank that paid the same amount. So they had to pay that.
Otherwise, nobody would ever walk in the door.
Exactly. But since then, they bought all the little banks. Now there are no little banks, and they can pay you nothing or maybe half of 1% and get away with it, right? So they're still earning 24% or 25% on the credit card, right? The average bank earns 16 or 17% return on capital. They publish that every quarter. Every one of your viewers can go online, look at their SEC filing. They tell it publicly. They say, here, this is how much we earned on your money.
Well, what happened though in the crash about 10 years ago here? Well, what happened there, and who bailed out those banks?
So it's a great question. Look, so between 2000 and 2007, remember it was like heydays. Money was easy. People took excessive risk, and what happened is that the banks took tremendous amount of loans, risky loans, and when the music stopped in 2008, they got caught without the ability to basically pay each other, right? They didn't have enough money to pay for all of their obligations, for all of the liabilities. And because of that, we had to bail them out. Now, you would say, wait a second, what do you mean we? They have FDIC insurance. Isn't the insurance supposed to pay for all of those costs? And the answer is no. Like, the FDIC is there to protect one bank from each other. Meaning, if a bank fails, they just merge it with another bank.
Right.
But when it comes to like 800 billion bailout, like in 2008, the FDIC did not have enough money, and the regulators came to the Senate and said, "Hey, you write us a check for 800 billion. Otherwise, the entire economy is going to collapse." Because all these guys, all these bad actors, they took too much risk with our money. It's not their money. They didn't risk their own capital.
No.
They risk your deposit money. They all got caught with the music stopping, with Lehman going out of business, Bear Stearns going out of business.
But some of those bank presidents got huge payouts and even bonuses that year.
A year later, 2009 was record payout in bonuses for Wall Street. Record, all-time record. So, again, banks are not your friends.
So how is the Celsius Network changing this? What are you doing to change this?
Well, to answer that, I have to go back to tell you another story from 25 years ago. Yeah, so I came to this country as an immigrant. I'm a tinkerer. I very technical guy. I built stuff with computers, and I built a computer that can basically transact on the phone network. This is back in 1993, 94. And back then, the phone companies were the most profitable companies in America, not the banks. Today, the banks are some of the most profitable. Back then, AT&T was making billions of dollars in profit from taking your phone call, delivering it to Japan, charging you $3 a minute, and it cost them maybe 10 cents to deliver a call, right? So the large voice companies were just making a killing from the U.S. businesses and U.S. consumers paying all those high rates. And I invented a system that could take your phone call, put it on the internet, and bypass through a new set of rails called TCP/IP and UDP.
TCP/IP, right?
Bypass the phone company and go to Japan or Australia or England or whatever without using AT&T or the phone company on the other side.
Wow.
And that's now called Voice over IP, Voice over an Internet Protocol.
Right.
4.5 billion people use it. Why?
Wait. So are you telling me that you're the guy that invented the technology that is now voice over IP?
Yes, I wrote the original patents in October of 1994. They actually just expired a few weeks ago. So.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. That is impressive.
Yes.
I mean, here voice over IP is now something
everybody's using.
That literally everybody uses.
So we removed the toll collector in the middle. If me and you want to talk, we just get on WhatsApp. You have WhatsApp, and we talk to each other. It costs zero. Right. Before AT&T was in the middle and said, no, you better pay me 30 cents a minute for a domestic call and $2 or $3 a minute if it's an international call, if you two want to talk to each other.
Right.
We got rid of the middleman, rid of the toll collector. Now we're doing money over IP. So what is money over IP?
Okay.
We're going to remove the middleman. Who's the middleman? The bank, the insurance broker, right? All the people who take your money right? And they make money with your money, but they don't give you any of those benefits, right? They keep it all to themselves. That is and basically we're using a new set of rails, the same way we did TCP/IP. Now we're using the blockchain, we're using cryptocurrencies, we're using open ledger, all these amazing technologies to remove the middleman and deliver the value to the depositor.
Directly to the depositor.
We take 80% of what we make and give it directly to the depositor.
You know, Patty and I travel around the world educating on blockchain and cryptocurrency. And we use this as an example. We physically did this to do it. We were booking a room to do a big event in Bangkok, so I had to wire, they wouldn't take cryptocurrency.
Sure.
We wired $30,000 from the US to Bangkok.
Yep.
Okay? And when we did that, it went from our bank to an intermediary bank, whatever the hell that is.
Yes.
And then it went to one over there, and it had to first go to Europe before it would go to Bangkok.
Yes.
And then another intermediary, and then they changed the currency on us. The bottom line is it cost $700.
Yep.
The next time we did the exact same thing, when we were over there, we taught them to use Bitcoin.
Right.
We sent it from a Bitcoin wallet from us to them.
Yes.
And it cost about $1.
Exactly.
Technology is changing.
Yes.
The bank system, $700 to $1. Wow.
Most people don't understand that, and they don't believe it, right? Most people say, come on, I'm not going to trust some network of computers run by hackers to move my money around. Right? So the challenge we're having in this industry is the adoption and the education. You guys are doing an amazing job, again, educating the masses,
right?
But the trust is not there. You see, when I came to you and I said, stop using AT&T, use this app, that is a low bar for adoption, right? Because you're like, okay, well, I'll download the app, I'll use it. If it doesn't work, I'll go back and make my call on AT&T.
Right.
But when I'm asking you to move your money over, you'll be like, oh, who are you? Where are you from? How long you've been around here?
Yep.
How many other people are using you? There are all these other scammers who stole money from me before. I'm not going to trust you with my money. So the bar here is much higher. And the banks have done such a good job scaring us and telling us that they're the only safe place for store of value, that we have a really hard time scaling up the community, right? Getting to mass adoption.
Is the U.S. behind the curve in this level? Trying to get that scale up? Talk about that for 1 second.
So, the answer is yes or no. I mean, I think the U.S. is leading the world in technology. It's leading the world in innovation. But the need for the service is actually much greater in countries like Turkey and Venezuela and Argentina and the Philippines and North Korea and all kind of places where the local currency is so unstable that the minute people get any money, they immediately want to put it into a Bitcoin or Ethereum or a stable coin and so on. Something that is much more stable than their own currency. So it's unclear if the wave to adoption is going to be us educating Americans or us going, for example, to Turkey and saying to people, hey, you woke up and you had half of the money you had yesterday because Erdogan decided that the currency is now worth something different. And so I think we need a community all over the world that does that, the preaching, right, the gospel, and educates people, because I don't know where the spark is going to come from. Today the community is growing slowly. It's growing, but it's growing slowly. Right. And we need that mass adoption. We need that big spark.
Right, and that's what we try to do, is take people from kindergarten, we call it, to 12th grade.
Yes.
Get them to graduate high school in the crypto world.
So that's what's very important about Celsius. So we decided, and I've been in this business since 2013, right? Having coins and everything else. We decided that instead of making everybody understand blockchain and Bitcoin and Ethereum and smart contracts and all that stuff, how about we just give them a service they need? 7.5 billion people, if you ask them, do you want to earn more money on your money? They say, sure, I want more interest on my money. And so the service itself, the utility of earning money on your money is something that is not available anywhere in the world. It's not just an American problem. It's a Japanese problem. It's a Korean problem. It's a European problem, right? It's a South American problem. So we think that the Celsius network, with its ability to pay 5, 6, 7% per year, is a revolution. And instead of trying to sell people on the benefits of the blockchain, just like we use TCP/IP, we're not teaching people about TCP/IP.
Exactly.
We're just telling them, click the button, you can talk to somebody. Same thing here. We're saying, hey, download an app, you can earn money on your money.
So let's just break it down for the listener, the watcher that is really, really uneducated. I have $10,000. I have it in my savings account, and now I'm really mad because it went down to less than 1% interest a year.
Yes.
So why do I want to keep it there? And actually, when I did the math, that $1,000 was actually losing money for me because the fees were higher than the interest that I made at the end of the year.
Yes.
Okay. So
all right. So let me explain it in the terms that most people know. So first of all, there is 3 types of buckets, right? There's like something that's like bonds, right? Meaning it's stable, it's yielding very well, it doesn't move up and down, you know exactly how much you're going to earn, and we call these things stable coins. Why they're stable? Because they're pegged to a US dollar. So Celsius partnered with 10 different stable coins. You can pick and choose, you can do research about each one of them. We don't sell them. You have to go to, for example, Circle or Coinbase to buy USDC, which is a stable coin managed by a trust company.
Right.
So your dollars go into actually a trust company, with almost like a bank that is FDIC insured. They issue an ERC20 token, so they give us the representation, the digital representation of the money you gave them, and we earn 7.25% on that. Right? So it's like a bond that's earning 7.25%. How do we earn so much money? We lend it at 9 or 10. Right? So we have borrowers who pay us a higher rate. Then there is a second group, right, which is more like stocks. They move up and down, and you have to really know what you're doing. And those are more like the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, the EOS coins that also yield. They have a lower yield, 3, 4, 5%, but that you have the appreciation. If the coin goes up, you capture that as well. So if you feel comfortable buying a Bitcoin, again, we don't sell that. You have to go to an exchange. You can buy a Bitcoin, deposit it. You download the Celsius wallet, right? Celsius Network, look at it for Android or on the App Store. You deposit those coins into our wallet, and immediately the coins start earning interest. You want to withdraw them at any time, you can withdraw them an hour after you deposited them. We don't have any lockups, and we have, because we use BitGo as a custodian, BitGo has insurance, and as long as it's sitting in cold storage, they are insured up to $100 million. So these are like it's still several steps. We're working on that, on solving it. But basically, it's today, I think, the only way for the average Joe to take his salary or to take his savings and say, okay, I'm going to take 10% of that and put it into this high yield account instead of keeping it with a bank where the fees are higher than what I'm collecting.
And as we were talking about, in the future, you're even looking at attaching that to a credit or a debit type card that then people could actually use off of that
balance, right?
Borrow against their own balance.
Let's spill the beans here, okay? So the richest Americans, how do they become so rich? They defer their taxes. What does it mean, defer their taxes? They have Apple stock or Facebook stock. They don't sell it when they need money. They borrow against the stock and they let the stock continue appreciating. You can do the same thing with Bitcoin, Ethereum, or even the stable coins.
Right.
You can defer your taxes, borrow against the asset on a credit card or debit card, or even take a dollar loan. We issue dollar loans, again, directly to your bank account.
Right.
And those are the mechanisms that the rich people use to, Warren Buffett says that every time they interview him. He says, hey, I'm paying lower taxes than my secretary.
Exactly.
So nothing I'm telling you is new. It's just that most people are too busy to figure out how to use these advantages themselves. And what we've done is we package all of that in a simple wallet, really an app that delivers that service for you in a very easy way.
And how does the average Joe, we're walking around here and we see the people walking up and down the aisles. How do they get that? How do they get involved with you to do that?
Very simple. Most of us have a smartphone.
Yep.
You go to the App Store, you go to the Play Store, and you just search for Celsius Network. You download it, you open the app, you do KYC ML. Again, we don't want bad actors in there.
Right.
So we want to make sure that everybody who registered is not on the OFAC list and is not a criminal and is not a, a hacker or is not from North Korea, right? And we then give you an account. The account accepts 25 different currencies. We don't recommend one another. You have to do your homework. We support what we think are the good ones,
Right.
but you still have to do your homework and figure out which ones you want to do, which ones you want to use. You then buy them. We have links, so we show you where you can buy them. You buy them on those services, you deposit them with us, and then they're starting to earn interest. So if
And they're earning the appreciation of whatever they're doing
exactly,
as
yes.
well. Wow.
It's that simple, yes.
And it's just that simple. So anybody can go to the
Anyone
link
can do it,
that's
yes.
right below this video,
Yes.
and they can sign up.
Yes.
And what's the process? I mean, does it take hours?
It's instant, yeah. I mean, you download the app, it's instant. KYC takes maybe an hour or two, and then you're ready to go. And you can move your funds over. Again, you can, while you're doing the Celsius application, you can take some of your dollars and, for example, go to Coinbase and buy USDC, the stable coin.
Right.
And they issue it to me immediately, right? And then you can deposit it at Celsius. Celsius gives you an address, says just move them over here. Just like you move money on a bank account.
Just as that
Yes.
easy.
Yes.
Well, you know, Alex, it has been incredible. And what an education, not just me, but all the listeners have got just listening to what you have to say. And I think our new saying here at Up Close and Personal is, banks are not your friends. Banks are not your friends.
And look, it's what we invented, right, is the fact that we're giving 80% back to the depositor. People come to me and say, Alex, that is a crazy. Why would you give so much back to the depositor? And I own 80% of Celsius.
Right.
So for me, I'm also one of the biggest depositors of Celsius. So for me, it doesn't matter if it comes this way or this way. It's like moving money from this pocket to this pocket. But in the real world, the banks and the institution, Wall Street, they cannot support both. They always have to choose. And they got to grab from the depositors and give to the shareholders. They cannot reverse that. If JP Morgan started giving money back to their depositor, their stock would plummet. And Jamie Dimon is too smart to do that. So he's not going to give you that interest back. He's not going to help you out. You got to make sure that you find someone who's acting in your best interest.
Well, thank you so much for doing
thanks
this.
for having us.
Hey, the whole TCP, the voiceover phone, really great stuff, man. I got to tell you, every one of us use it every single day. So we thank you for that as well.
Thanks for having me.
Next time you get on your phone and your WhatsApp or you're talking, this is the guy. This is the guy that did that. Okay, it's him. It's really, really great to be able to sit in my seat and be able to meet people like you. I'm Dan Hunt, and I'm going to wait for just a second. There's a big event going on. I'm Dan Hunt. We are live at World CryptoCon 2019 in Las Vegas, Nevada, and this is Up Close and Personal, brought to you by Dunamis, who is powered to pay. Dan Hunt saying, have a great rest of today and an even better day tomorrow.